This episode was good and bad at the same time. There was problems with this episode, but at the same time, it was an enjoyable episode. So let's get into the good factors real quick, okay? So, this episode was really enjoyable. It had some awesome freaking action and fighting scenes, the standard fairy tale, and we get to see some badass moments. We get a little bit of fan service, but let's talk about one of my favorite moments of this episode. Definitely Aquarius talking with Lucy about her boyfriend Scorpio. Oh my god, that was fucking hilarious. Aquarius is accusing Scorpio of cheating on her, going out with another woman. So right there, that was fucking funny. It's so interesting getting to see Aquarius back. I mean, her entire introduction to this episode was like, just getting to see her once again communicate with Lucy and seeing how she acts was funny. Even Happy's freaking out, all scared in the background. Like, oh god! It just... Aquarius, I miss these interactions between Aquarius and Lucy. I mean, as you can clearly tell, Aquarius hates Lucy the way she acts, but at the same time she cares for her. It's so funny getting to see this interaction. I mean, I missed it. We haven't had this in a long time, so getting to see this again just brings back nostalgia. Great memories I remember in the past, and so that was one of the main highlights of this episode. And then another good highlight definitely was Panther Lily just kicking some fucking ass. He pulled out a little bit of hockey from One Piece and cut Poison! He cut Poison! Panther Lily cut Poison, so that was badass. I'm just gonna say right there, that was fucking badass. Finding out a little bit of backstory with him, how he was training, got constantly punched by Steel Fist, was pretty awesome, and I like that. I mean, this episode had some great stuff into it. It had awesome music. Oh yes, that fucking music was bad fucking ass. I mean, okay, so when you see Mary Jane actually just transform into Satan's Soul, that music soundtrack, oh my, I cannot wait to have this soundtrack of Fairy Tail 2014, because that soundtrack was so amazing. And when she reminisces of the past, when she remembers Lysana's death, like when she thought she was dead, and you see the sad, slow music playing as she's walking towards the person, I'm like, oh my god, just the music they chose in these scenes are really good. It has that Fairy Tail type of tune, and I love the soundtrack. I love this new soundtrack of Fairy Tail. It sounds very similar to the original soundtrack that we used to hear in Fairy Tail, so I'm glad they chose to go the same type of music in Fairy Tail 2014. So now let's get into the bad parts of this episode, since I got all the good out of the way. The bad thing about this episode I see, and there's a couple things. There's sometimes in points in this episode that the animation is not that good, especially talking scenes. The talking scenes look really bad. But I think one of the best moments with the actual animation was definitely Aquarius and Lucy scene. That was some really good animation. But when you get into Mary Jane's Satan's Soul transformation, the animation just does not look that good. It really does not from my point of view. It kind of looks a little bit derpy. And then Natsu's face kind of looked a little bit derpy also in this episode. But that's just one thing. The main problem with this episode, besides me nitpicking at animation, would probably have to be the factor that these executioners got defeated way too easily. I mean, we don't necessarily know they're defeated yet, but I mean, you might as well say they are, since there are already 4 of them lined up on the ground defeated, and it's kind of upsetting, really, because these people were built up, for instance, for a couple episodes now, and they were said that they were like the royal executioners, top executioners, underground executioners. They are myths and legends about them for the kingdom, and supposedly they get defeated so easy by Fairy Tail. I mean, yes, Fairy Tail was not having the upper hand at first, but then they turn around and won. It's upsetting getting to see how these executioners didn't hold up a good enough fight to really say they were epic. I mean, eventually, yes, Fairy Tail would have to win. I mean, it's common sense, but still the point of it is that they went down way too easy, and I felt like that was one of the major problems. But I mean, this has been a problem that's plagued Fairy Tail for a very long time. And remember, I'm a big Fairy Tail fan, but this is a problem that plagues Fairy Tail sometimes, and I'm kind of upset about that, but I still love the series for what it stands for, and so I can kind of look past this. I just wanted to tell you all about that if you didn't realize that, because it's upsetting. This backstory that we hear on these executioners did not live up to what we thought, and they turned around and got defeated so easy. So anyways, everybody, tell me your thoughts on this episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What's your favorite moments about it? Did you love that nostalgia scene between Aquarius and Lucy? What did you feel about the entire scene of Happy being scared of Aquarius? What did you feel about Scorpio and Aquarius' love trouble? What do you feel about Panther Lily's little bit of his character development backstory? Let me know in the comments below. Love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.